The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Cronin hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome once again to another episode of the Star Sport podcast. I'm your host Matthew Hurley and I'm joined today by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. The Star Sport podcast is in association with our friends at Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, where your bank really does matter. Choose credit union, choose local, choose community. Now, this is the last episode of the year, so it is our end of year review. We are counting down our top 20 moments that happened in West Cork sport this year. So yeah, Kieran, another great year for West Cork sport, a memorable one at that. How would you rank it among sporting years in West Cork? Like, there's a lot of moments in here, and it probably just epitomises. You said at the end of the top 10 last year that in the future we might go to top 20. We're going to top 20 this year.
Yeah, that just shows you straight away, Matthew, just how good the past year has been for West Cork sport. It's been an incredible era, you could say, the last decade or so, and we've kind of spoken about it a lot. It's like a golden era for West Cork sport because this region is producing, some of the world's best sports people, the country's best sports people, and it's across all different sports. So for the first time, our end of year review has a top 20 instead of a top 10. So we've an awful lot to get through in our chat ahead. But like, it's been another superb year, and we're going to get to a lot of those moments now. But even sitting down to list or put together this top 20, still leaving moments out. And that was like kind of even surprised me. I was like, Christ almighty, we've achieved so much in the past 12 months that it's even hard to have a top 20. So who knows, even next year we could be looking at a top 25 already.
Exactly. And of course, just to mention this as well, just before we get started, this list was compiled by the sports editor himself, Kieran McCarthy. So if there's any grievances on social media and all that, you know who to contact. So we'll get straight into the list after that now. So we'll start off with number 20. And this moment, it's probably personal enough to myself as well, because I was in the stadium when this happened. Cork beating Limerick in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship in 2024. This wasn't just once the Cork beat Limerick this year. It was twice. They beat them in Croke Park. They beat them in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. This was just an incredible moment for everybody involved in Cork, and I think there was at that stage a party full of Cork people around the capital at that time, Kieran. So yeah, it was just a great moment.
It really was, and you could see this past year when the Cork hurlers are going well, just the colour and the life and the vibrancy it gives to the championship, and even to the county here as a whole, it just lifts everyone, and that's the power and the pull of the Cork hurlers. Yeah, it was brilliant to beat Limerick in the Munster Championship, but derailing the Green Machine in the All-Ireland semi-final, the 5 in a row chasing Limerick team, like after an epic game up in Croke Park, like that was just one of the magical moments. Okay, Cork couldn't get the job done in the final, like what an epic final against Clare in itself. But to beat that Limerick team, that great Limerick team, I think like it's just that moment alone is just deserving of its spot in the top 20.
Exactly. So, and I think the big question involved with many Cork hurling fans thinking at the end of this year, can we go for the All-Ireland next year? Because there is the team there. Pat Ryan is building a side there. And yeah, it's kind of hard to pick a team in a good way because there's a lot of good players performing. There was a lot of players that were left out all throughout the year that probably deserve a place in it this season. We've seen with the Cork clubs doing so well at the club championship this year. Is this finally the year, the first time since 2005, that the Cork hurlers can go all the way?
Cork have the talent, and I think just almost the confidence that the team will get out of last year's run in terms of beating Limerick twice, running Clare so close in the final. Like they're really, really close to getting the hands on the Liam McCarthy, but it's such a hard competition to win, such a tough cup to get your hands on. So Cork will start as one of the front runners, but they'll have to be better. Cork will have to be better in 2025 than they were in 2024 if they want to win the big prize later in the summer. Are they good enough? I think we've all seen the talent is there, but they have to raise their game again. And if they do that, to remember to shout. But you got to remember, I suppose, Matthew, Clare would be better for winning the All-Ireland last year or this past season. Limerick will be hurting. Limerick will feel that they have a point to prove. And there's a lot of good hurling teams around there as well. Like you can have, I know it's not the Kilkenny of old, or Galway are a bit of a kind of a dark horse, but you just never know if there'll be a bolter from the pack. So of course Cork can win it, but the hard work, it's going to take a lot of hard work to get over the line.
Exactly. So we'll move on to number 19 now, and up from GA to soccer, and it is the West Cork Academy that took some headlines this year. They were absolutely brilliant last year with their achievements in the Kenty Cup, and they took that kind of momentum into this season as well, Kieran.
Yeah, big year for the West Cork Academy. Been going quite well over the last couple of years, and it's just very good for the local soccer scene here in West Cork to see the schoolboy section and the schoolgirl section going so well. So we were looking here at let's say the under-16 schoolboy squad, that they won the SFAI All-Ireland National Under-16 Schoolboy Shield with a 3-0 victory over Dundalk, and they also won the Munster Under-16 Schoolboys Trophy after penalty shootout win against Waterford. So for a region like West Cork, which is a rural region, for soccer to be put on the map here, which it has been done, because the last 2 years, West Cork have fared really, really well at the Kinnegad Cup. They've gone deep into the competitions in both years. So it's great to see the West Cork Academy is making all the right moves and all the right noises. So long may that continue. And I think it's just great for soccer in the region.
It is definitely, and I suppose there was headlines over the last couple of weeks that there's going to be a new national league in the League of Ireland coming up in the next few years. I think it's going to be introduced in 2026. Could that be a good thing for West Cork clubs down here as well, to get some of their clubs involved in that? Like there's a lot of local clubs around the country, and as you said there, they beat Dundalk. Dundalk, the senior team, were in European competitions a few seasons back. Watford, the senior team there, did well in the League of Ireland this year. Is there potential for maybe a West Cork club to move into a national league in the FAIC?
I think for West Cork at the moment, for let's say the kind of that schoolboy schoolgirls league, it's just to kind of keep doing what they're doing at the moment. It's so competitive. We've so many clubs from around the region taking part, and then it all feeds into the West Cork Academy. And we've seen what they're doing, and what we've seen then off the back of that is that various local players have got on to play with the likes of Cork City and so on. So there is that route from West Cork to the League of Ireland. Maybe that is something down the line. Like that would be to get up to that I suppose that national level for any club here would be a huge undertaking. But where there's a will, there's a way. But I just think at the moment it's just great to see the West Cork Academy, all that good work that they're doing, and they're doing an incredible amount of good work, the likes of David Hall and all these different people involved, that they're starting to get the recognition. And we've seen a lot of West Cork teams go off to different international tournaments, whether it's the up in Northern Ireland, I think it's the Milk Cup, or the Surf Cup in I think it was in Spain, different international competitions like that, where we're seeing West Cork teams go abroad and get that experience. So I think it's on an upward trajectory.
Brilliant, yeah, and exactly. So that number 18 is one of few rugby mentions in our list, and it is involving Gavin Coombs, who got his 100th appearance for Munster during the course of this season, and he's probably a try-scoring machine at this stage for Munster. Gavin, he's in the all-time top 5, I think, a try-scoring for Munster. He's been absolutely a legend for them, has been brilliant in that back row, and his reward is 100 appearances for Munster as well. It's a brilliant achievement for the Skibbereen man.
Yeah, he's only the second ever West Cork player to have 100 appearances for Munster. The first is Fintan. That was back in 2023. So Gavin has been a phenom for Munster since he came into the scene. Like you said, he's already in the top 5 in terms of try scores for Munster. At the time of recording, I think it was 46 tries in 106 games, just around that mark, So I think Simon Sebo is the top try scorer, and Gavin's 26, 27, just signed a new contract with Munster for another 2 seasons. So he'll be chipping away at that record, and who knows, in a couple of years' time, Gavin could be back here in the top 20 as Munster's all-time record try scorer. But he's been a colossus for Munster since he came on board. I think the big head scratcher we all have is we just know how good he's been at Munster, but he just hasn't got that chance or that shot with Ireland, for whatever reason. Kind of obviously Andy Farrell likes a different kind of profile of player to what Gavin does so well for Munster, but to rack up 100 appearances for Munster, like that's an achievement that can't be sniffed at.
You mentioned Ireland there. It's kind of a weird kind of a situation because you have like a set back row there. You have Josh Van der Fleer, you have Caelan Doris, you have others there as well from obviously Leinster. But a lot of Irish fans were probably complaining about the lack of depth in the team. Could Gavin Coombs add to that? And potentially as well, another West Cork man, John Hodnett, who's doing well in the back row for Munster as well. Could two of them break into the Ireland squad in this season as well? And maybe for the Six Nations, play them against the likes of Italy and Wales, who may not be at the level. Like, do you think Gavin has a shot at that?
Probably not in the Six Nations coming up, because I think for Gavin and John, their probably argument to get in the Ireland squad has probably been stronger in the past, especially off the back of Munster winning the URC back in 2023. Munster are obviously had a change of kind of coach. That process kind of ongoing at the moment with Graham Rowntree stepping away, so it hasn't been I suppose a kind of a stellar season for Munster to date, and it's kind of just that uncertainty then probably feeds into why we don't see the likes of a Gavin Coombs or John Hodnett getting called up to the Irish setup. Like Gavin has been there. Like Gavin has two Ireland international caps. He was in with the training camp before the World Cup in 2023, but he wasn't picked to go on the flight to France. So he's been thereabouts, but for whatever reason, Andy Farrell just doesn't have the trust in Gavin Coombs right now to give him his chance with Ireland. We'd all love to see it, kind of his form at Munster over his past few seasons, which would suggest that he deserves that opportunity. But it's very, very hard to break into that Ireland squad right now. Maybe it's harder to kind of fall off the squad than actually get onto. Like it's hard to know. Like with Andy Farrell not involved in 2025, you might think there's an opportunity there, but what you could see Ireland just stick with the tried and trusted, So I think Gavin needs to just keep doing what he's doing, and if that call comes, brilliant, take it. But I don't think he should lose sleep over it either, because he's doing incredible work for Munster, and I think all Munster fans can appreciate that.
So yeah, moving on to the next entry in the list, and it is number 17, and it is the Cork Camogie team winning the second O'Duffy Cup in a row. A magnificent achievement for Ger Manley's men, and Ger Manley did so well to take over, didn't he, here? And after last season, Matthew Toomey won the All-Ireland in his last season as Cork Camogie boss, but Ger Manley took on the mantle and won it this season. They were expected to win the All-Irelands. They still had to do it though against a tough Galway team in the final, and they did it.
Yeah, brilliant win for the Cork Camogie team in August, beating a Galway team that had been their bogey side, let's say, going back over the last couple of years. But this is a very different Cork Camogie team to the one that lost those finals back in 21 and 22. Now we have a Cork team that's firmly top of the charts, champions in 23 and 24. So back-to-back champions, and go for the three in a row next year, which would be a huge achievement for this Cork Camogie team. And also we have that local element too. Unfortunately, Libby Coppinger was injured. Our St. Colum's All-Star, she'd suffered a bad injury during the summer, so she was sidelined for the championship. But we still had the likes of the Courcey Rovers duo of Saoirse McCarthy and Fiona Keating, both starters, both really important players on this Cork Camogie team. And a shout out to Saoirse, a three-time All-Star. She's won an All-Star for the last 3 years in a row, and she's been shortlisted for the Camogie Player of the Year for the past 2 seasons. And also, Matthew, one of the great stories from our point of view for the Cork Camogie team this year was Ciara O'Sullivan from Newcestown. If we go back to 2023, Ciara suffered a cruciate injury that sidelined her for the full season, so she missed out on a full year. She came back with the Cork Intermediate side at the start of 2024, played there at the start, but won her place back in the Cork Senior panel, got back in to play championship, and came on in the All-Ireland final against Galway. So that was a real, I suppose, one of the comeback stories of the year, you could say, in terms of kind of from the depths of an injury like an ACL injury to get your hands on an All-Ireland winners medal after playing in the finals. So yeah, it was a really super season for the Cork Camogie team, and no pressure, girls. We'd love to see 3 in a row.
Big question is, can they do 3 in a row? Because like the Camogie scene has probably been sparse at this stage. Kilkenny are under transition there. Galway produced a good performance, but you'd imagine some of their players might retire and things like that as well. People are moving on there. Tip and Waterford are coming up, but they aren't necessarily getting over the line in terms of All-Ireland finals or even winning the thing as well. They're winning leagues, but they're not winning All-Irelands or getting to finals at least. So Is it realistic to say Cork can win the three in a row in 2025?
I think so, yeah. I think so. We got to remember too, Matthew, on the day that Cork won the Senior Ireland, also won the Intermediate All-Ireland Camogie title as well. So that just highlights the depth of talent in the county right now. So even to get on the Cork Senior Camogie panel is an achievement, and you fierce competition for places there. And Germany has put a really strong squad there, a real good backroom team as well. They've lost Liam Cronin, okay, for 2025. I think he's gone to Waterford, is it? The Waterford the Waterford setup, but there's a this Cork team now knows how to win All Irelands. They have the best players, some of the best players in the country. They have the confidence, they have the belief, they have that brilliant mixture of youth and experience from the likes of the Ashling Thompson to those younger guns like the Saoirse McCarthy that we mentioned there, Laura Hayes, Player of the Year, Libby Coppinger to come back into the mix back from her injury. So you could even say that Cork could be even stronger again in 2025. So they'll start out the season as the team to beat. But the likes of Galway and Kilkenny, like they've been thereabouts for the last couple of years, and when push comes to shove in the championship, they can challenge Cork as well. So there's a lot needs to happen for Cork to win the three in a row. But to answer the question, yes, Cork can do it.
Exactly. So hopefully they can win the three in a row in 2025. Moving on to number 16, and it is another sport that is represented on this list, and it is the sport of kickboxing, as two local West Cork young guns in many ways won gold for the respective bouts. That was Bantry Oran Brady and Skibbereen's Evan Collins. A magnificent achievement for both of them this year.
Yeah, kind of kickboxing West Cork has always been quite strong. We have West Cork Kickboxing Club, kind of founded by Ian Kingston, which has done great things over the years. The likes of Tony Stevenson has won 2 world kickboxing titles. Lily Delacour has won the complete set from senior level to junior level, both at world and European level. But it's like the next generation have taken over now. So I suppose the Evan Collins first from Skibbereen, he's with West Cork Kickboxing Club, and he's just a great story. He's a young fella here from Skib. He kind of got through to the final at the WACO Youth World Championships in Budapest. I think he had 8 fights in 5 days, got to the final, and he actually beat a fella who'd beaten him earlier in the year. So that was a super story for Evan. And then with Oran Brady, Oran is the Brady family from, actually the Bradys are related to the Wycherleys, kind of out the famous Wycherley rugby clan, the Fintan and Josh and so on. So there's obviously something in the DNA here. But when it comes to kickboxing, the Bradys are just a class apart. Just for a bit of context, Oran's oldest brother Sean was a World Junior Kickboxing champion back in 2016. O'Sheen won a World Junior Kickboxing title back in 2022. So Oran decided to come along and win 2 this year. So he takes bragging rights in the Brady household. So to win those 2 world titles, they were in the minus 84 kg junior light contact and kick light categories, and that was at the same championships that Evan won at those WACO Youth World Kickboxing Championships out in Budapest. So just a great to see kickboxing, young local kickboxers bringing home gold medals, and for whatever region you're from in the country, to have kind of world champions in your midst, it's worth celebrating. So just a huge congrats to both Oran and to Evan.
And it's great to see so many West Cork sports being represented in this list as well. And they are doing so well, which is brilliant to see, obviously. And hopefully kickboxing can thrive even more in 2025. Moving on to number 15, and it is the second rugby entry on the list. And this time it's moving on to the women's game. Inya Breen became the first West Cork native to captain the Irish senior rugby team. Magnificent achievement. It really is. And Ireland did well in that tournament around August, September time as well. So magnificent achievement for Inya.
It is, yeah, kind of we've kind of joked over the last couple of years that West Cork is becoming rugby country, but you can see why, like when you look at the achievements of so many local players and I suppose the national and international scale and stage, and Inya is probably to the forefront when it comes to local women's rugby players playing for Ireland. She's nearly, she must have mid-20s, nearly 30 caps already for Ireland. And again, actually very much like Ciara O'Sullivan, Inya had done a cruciate injury back in 2023. So this year was her comeback year. She came back in the Six Nations, kind of found her feet again, got up and running. So when it came to the WXV tournament over in Canada, she actually captained Ireland in 2 games. And in that first game, she became the first Irish the first West Cork native ever, the captain an Irish senior rugby team, which is that's an incredible achievement, you know, and it's just it shows how far rugby has come in West Cork and women's rugby as well. And just also to mention that on that same Irish panel at the tournament in Canada, where Ireland finished second, there was Andrea Stock from Doris was also, she made her Ireland debut there as well. So we had two West Cork women. We had Inya Breen from Skib and we had Andrea Stock from Doris, both playing with the Ireland team. And an Ireland team that beat the All Blacks in the first game, and an Ireland team that played Canada, didn't beat the States and so on. So it's just good to see local rugby players playing at that stage.
And just in terms of the Irish rugby team in a women's level as well, in the Six Nations, it probably didn't go as planned for that team. But then to beat New Zealand later on the year, will that give the likes of Enya and Andrea and the rest of the Ireland team a lot of confidence moving into the Six Nations early this year or next year in 2025?
I think so. Like, to finish second in that tournament, that tournament in Canada is just, it was a big boost, you know, and there's a lot there for the Irish team to build on. When you're looking at the Six Nations, you know, England and France are that bit ahead of Ireland right now. So to finish third, as we did this year, was probably the best that we could have hoped for. So the hope is to kind of kick on, and 2025 is going to be quite a big year for the Irish women's rugby team. But they'll take an awful lot of confidence off their recent games, and also beat Australia in a game before they flew out to Canada as well. So there's it's good to see the Irish women's rugby team moving in the right direction, and I think there's a lot to look forward to in the Six Nations.
Exactly. So, and moving on to number 14, and a lot of people might be wondering, where's the Olympics coverage? Like the Olympics was kind of a major event in the summer in West Cork. Well, lads, it is the first one here at number 14. It is Nicola Tuttle who competed in her first ever Olympic Games and finished an astonishing 16th out of 32 in the Olympics. A magnificent achievement from a girl from Kilbrittain who has a lot more to offer, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the kind of the Nicola Tuttle story, like it's still at its beginning. Like we've been writing and telling Nicola's stories since 2020, and that's when she was as a 16-year-old. She won the Irish Senior Women's Hammer title. She was also crowned the West Cork Youth Sports Star of the Year for 2020. And since then, it's like kind of we've been following Nicola as like our biggest fans here in the Southern Star, just watching her go from strength to strength. So this year to qualify for her first Olympics when she was only 20 years old was an incredible achievement because, to be honest, Matthew, it was very much ahead of schedule. Like it wasn't really part of the plan at the start of the year, but she threw a huge PB of 70:32 in May, and all of a sudden it opened the door to, okay, I can qualify for the Olympics. And she did enough to qualify, and she got across to Paris. And on the big stage in Paris at the Stade de France, to finish 16th out of 32 competitors, it's a hell of an achievement because you're talking about the hammer. The athletes don't usually kind of hit their peak till maybe their late 20s, early 30s. Two of the women who got to the hammer final were 38. And here was Nicola at the opposite age. She's only 21 years of age, yet she finished 16th. You know, so she's broken a 70-meter barrier once. She threw 69.90 twice, including in the qualifying at the Olympics. So she's on an upward trajectory. Like the hope is, touch wood, she's only going to get better and better. So it could be the first, we hope, of many Olympics for Nicola. But what an exciting story, and what another incredible year for her.
Just counted on my fingers there, between Nicola's age and the age of 38 with the serious competitors. That's 4 Olympic Games for Nicola to improve. So is there more to expect from Nicola, not just in LA in the next Olympic Games in 2028, but even further, 32, 36, etc.?
Like she's here for like touch wood, like kind of with any athlete, it's once they can stay injury free. But like she's in this for the long term, you know. She's an incredible talent. I remember talking to her coach, one of her coaches, Killian Barry, earlier in the summer, and he was just kind of just explaining to me that it's almost her psychological kind of side as well that kind of makes her stand out in the crowd. She's just so resilient, so strong, so determined. So she has all the attributes to kind of to be a real world-class women's hammer thrower, and she's proven it so far. Like she's taken every step on her stride. So I think going into 2025, just want to see can Nicola take it on again, and whether that's kind of the European under-23s, or can she just start throwing over 70 consistently? But she has all the attributes, and LA is in 4 years' time, and by then she'll be the grand age of, what is it, 24, you know. So kind of she'll still be just kind of so young, but she'll have the experience of Paris behind her. So it's just, yeah, I think it's just a very exciting she's a very exciting athlete to watch in the years ahead.
Going to be exciting to see Nicola's development in the next few years, and hopefully she does get on the podium eventually. She probably will in years to come, I'm sure. Moving on to number 13, and a few entries about Cork ladies football in this list as well, and this is the first of those. Clonakilty won the senior B title this year, beating Kinsale in that final, and also got to the Munster final against Ballymacarbery as well, which they pushed the Waterford side to extra time. But that was a Ballymacarbery team that was on a huge winning streak, 42 in a row in Waterford. So it was a magnificent achievement for Clon to even get there. But firstly, just to win the senior B title for Clon, it's a magnificent achievement. And considering they beat Castlehaven in the semi-final and the shootout as well, like, what an achievement for Clon, and maybe a platform to push on for next year in Senior A.
That's exactly it, Matthew. Like, this is the platform that this kind of Kilty team wanted, probably needed to kind of just to take the next step. So it was the ladies club's first ever kind of senior ladies football title, which is a huge moment for Clonakilty ladies football. And like you said, it's the way they won it as well. They beat Castlehaven, who are the reigning senior B county champions, in the semi-final, and then they beat a Kinsale team in the final that had beaten Clonakilty in the West Cork Division 1 final just during the summer. So they beat two West Cork rivals to take their first senior county title. So this is one that meant a lot for Clonakilty. But even if you go back to the group stages of the senior championship, this Clon team ran Éire Óg to just 1 point in a group game there. This is an Éire Óg team that's been there or thereabouts for the Senior A title over the last couple of years. So I think the Clonakilty ladies, they'll be absolutely delighted and thrilled to have that first piece of adult kind of county silverware, but they'll want to push on in 2025, and it's going to be quite interesting from a West Cork point of view. We'll have Clonakilty, we'll have Castlehaven, we'll have Kinsale again, and now we'll have O'Donovan Rossa up senior as well. So we've 4 senior ladies football teams in 2025. So the potential for a few tasty derbies there.
And we see this year as well, the stranglehold of Mourne winning the county title has loosened completely. Mourne finished in the group stage this year. They didn't even get to the knockout stages. Does that indicate that the Cork Championship is going to be even tougher next year?
I think it's very open now. It's very open. If we look at that Mourne team, like Mourne, what a magnificent team for so long. But they lost in the Senior B county semi-final to Kinsale this year. You know, kind of it's like there's been a changing of the guard there. So that means it's more open. The fact it's more open could mean it's, like you said there, it could be tougher to win because you've so many teams now of a similar standard there. For years it was Mourne, like, and teams just couldn't beat Mourne. They beat that West Cork divisional team that came along, and there was a few incredible years there where West Cork and Mourne went head to head. But I think now, like you said, Matthew, it is more open going into 2025. That's why the Clonakilty ladies, they'll be just kind of boosted off the fact that they've won the Senior B, and they'll want to use this as just a base, just a platform that they can take the next step in 2025.
Exactly. So, and another sport being mentioned in the list is mentioned at number 12, and that is bowling. Banded bowler James O'Donovan winning gold in the Dutch Moor bowling at the European Bowling Championships in Germany. What a magnificent achievement for James, obviously, and another sport to add to the list as well, and another gold medal coming the way of West Cork in 2024.
Yeah, kind of road bowling and West Cork kind of go hand in hand. It's just kind of synonymous. Like, it's such a strong region for road bowling. Like, the tradition in the area is huge, and I think all of our listeners or viewers, they've been driving around the road somewhere in West Cork and they'll have come across a score, you know, kind of like going on. It's just the way of the world down this neck of the woods. So to see James O'Donovan win the European gold medal was one of the big highlights of the year, and especially from these road bowling championships or these bowling championships, in Germany. They didn't really go Ireland's way, especially on the road, which would be Ireland's kind of home kind of bowling discipline. Just didn't fall for us this time. So for James to bring home the kind of the Dutch Moors gold medal, which is kind of a bowling discipline on grass, that was huge. You know, it was dramatic too. I think he won it by centimeters in the end, 15 centimeters. So it was so close. And James is a very popular local bowler, very well known too for his bend and GA exploits over the years, and he comes from a very kind of, his family are very rich in kind of bowling heritage as well. And quick to mention with James as well, and I kind of joked with him that he was a Netflix kind of star this year. He was on Bodkin, the kind of the series that was released this year, and where James was kind of he did a bit of acting as a road bowler there as well. But I think he'll remember his European gold as the big takeaway from 2024.
Exactly. So, and the even more sports to be mentioned in this list, the better. And congratulations off to James for a brilliant season. And at number 11, it is the final day drama, the West Cork League, as Clonakilty Soccer Club won their first Premier Division title in a packed day full of packed drama and tension as well. It almost mirrored the final day of the Premier League season in 2012. Remember that, Kieran?
No, can we erase that? Can we start this one again? Can we? As a United fan, I'm trying to erase that from my mind. Kind of there was a day full of drama, but I think the day in Dara this year was probably full of more drama, and it was yeah, just you have to throw me now, Matthew, with memories of 2012. But for Clonakilty, like what an incredible way to win your first Premier Division title, to beat your biggest title rival at home on the last day. It's right or over stuff, kind of the way the league had worked out this year is Clonakilty had beaten Drina in the Beamish Cup final probably 4 weeks previous, so that was a huge boost for Clon. They knew that they could beat Drina because Drina are the standard bearers. They've been the best team in West Cork League for the last number of years, and this Drina team knows how to win Premier Division titles. And Clonakilty had a big points lead, but as the weeks went by, Drina were eating into the lead, and all of a sudden it came down to the final day where Clonakilty were just 2 points ahead of Drina with a home game in Dara. So they knew a draw would do them. But it was like a cup final. If Drina won that game, they won the league. So there's a lot of pressure on the Clonakilty team that had been out in front, but they got the job done, but it was so tense. They fell behind twice in the game, 1-0, 2-1, but Jonathan Leahy got 2 goals that day that got him over the line, and it sparked huge celebrations. And it was just a great story for the West Cork League to have a new team come through, first time Premier Division champions, and also coming in the Beamish Cup for the first time. I think it was in since 2006 or 2008, either 16 or 18 years. So it was a huge season for Clonakilty soccer.
And as well as that, it's brilliant for the West Cork League in general as well, because Drina, obviously magnificent champions over the last few years, have been knocked off the perch a small bit, even though they are still around the top of the league this season as we're recording this. Clon are up there as well, so are Castletown Celtic. Is there going to be a more interesting end to this season than last season? I know it's going to be hard to top, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's already hotting up there, like you said there. Like Castletown are right in the mix there. Dunmanway Town will fancy their chances of kind of being the snakes in the long grass, trying to surprise the top teams there. So Clonakilty and Drina will be the 2 teams to beat. They've been there, they've done that, they have the experience, they know what it takes to win a Premier Division title. And it does look like this could go down to the wire again. It really does. It's going to be an exciting second half of the season because there's not much to choose between the top teams right now. We also have the Beamish Cup starting in early January. Also have you've the other cup competitions, the Premier Division Cup semi-finals, the Parkway Cup semi-finals to come as well. So Clonakilty and Drina are involved in all of those. So it's going to be a very interesting second half of the season.
Absolutely is, and definitely worth checking out the roundups of the Premier Division in the paper every week as well. And the West Cork League is going to be as exciting as ever towards the end of the year. We'll take a quick break now, and after the break, we'll go through moments from 10 to 1.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
So welcome back to the podcast, and now we will be going through the top 10 West Cork sporting moments of 2024. So we'll start off at number 10, and it is Dermot O'Mahony's winning their first Carberry Senior or Junior A Hurling Championship title since 2010. A magnificent achievement for the lads from Castletown. They beat Ballineen in the final. Magnificent achievement in the league and championship as well. They had a steady defence, and eventually they won the Flyer 9 Cup.
Yeah, huge for Mahoney's. This is a year that lived long into memory, and it comes in I suppose 50 years after did a breakthrough win back in 1974. I think was it a Junior B that the hurlers won back then. So there was just a really special year for the Mahoney's hurlers. I think they only lost 2 games all year. Is that right, Matthew? One of those was the county when they were the county series then. So they had a super season, a really strong season, and to beat a powerhouse like Ballineen, a team you know quite well, your local club, Matthew. So I know there's divided loyalties for you here, but just a great year for Mahoney's, and I think it just shows just how competitive it is here in Carberry, that we have a kind of kind of a new face like Mahone has had won it in a good few years to come out of the chasing pack and win the Flyer 9 this year. And I suppose it's worth pointing out too that Mahone has also got to the final of the junior A football, so they're after a really, really good campaign, kind of to get to both Carbery junior A finals is a testament to that group of players, because they're picking off basically the same panel of players for both. So they did incredibly well to get to both finals. So to finish the year with the junior A hurling title, I think that's a job well done for the men from Mahones.
Is that a precedent for other clubs to set as well, doing well at both codes? Because it was magnificent what Mahoudas did all year. I know they lost the final at the end of Kilmacabey in the football, but it was just a magnificent achievement to reach both finals, not just one.
Yeah, you need a lot to go right for you, I think, to do that. We looked at Newcestown back in 2023 in the at senior A level, with the hurlers and the footballers kind of doing what they did. So like Bullock have done it as well. Like it can happen, but it needs an awful lot to go right. You just need Lady Luck on your side. You need to get momentum. You need no injuries. You need a lot of things to kind of fall your way. But I think Mahone has proved this year that it is possible. So other dual clubs could be looking at doing something quite similar. But we just know how competitive it is here in Carbery. Like that's the reason over the last couple of years that especially in the football we haven't had back-to-back champions in a while, because it's such a competitive championship to win. So Mahones have proved it is possible, but they know too that the huge effort it takes to get to both finals. So kind of will it happen again in 2025? It's probably a long shot, probably a long shot, but they have shown what is possible though.
Exactly. So, and moving on to number 9, another rugby entry on the list. And of course, we cannot have a top 20 or top 10 moments without mentioning Jack Crowley. The number 10 at the moment for Ireland, albeit a few Leinster fans might think Sam Prendergast is ready for that role now. But Jack did play all of Ireland's minutes in their victorious Six Nations winning campaign this season, beating all of France, Italy, Wales and Scotland, losing narrowly to England as well, and just missing out on that Grand Slam in the end. But for Jack himself to start every single one of them Six Nations games and to win the crown on top of it as well, it's a magnificent achievement for the Bandon rugby graduate.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jack Crowley, like we talked earlier about, kind of so many magical moments for West Cork rugby over the years, and Jack is he's kind of leading that charge at the moment. Like he's Ireland's number 10 right now. I know there is the Sam Prendergast debate in Kieran Frawley, but personally speaking, I think that Jack should be going into the Six Nations. He should be Ireland's starting number 10, but we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But he can look back on this year with a huge amount of satisfaction. Like he played every minute of Ireland's Six Nations win. Kind of just when he was Ireland's number 10. That transition from life after Johnny Sexton to kind of new what is now the present kind of life post Johnny Sexton. Jack Crowley it didn't hurt as much. He softened the blow. And that's a huge credit to him, because trying to follow Sexton is trying to follow the impossible. Like Sexton was one of those kind of freak athletes that just come along, kind of the best of the best. But like Crowley has proved himself, to be a really quality athlete, and he's only 24, Matthew. And there's an awful lot more to come from Jack. He'll take on the challenge of Sam Prendergast. He'll meet that head on, and that's good, and hopefully that'll help Jack raise his game to the next level. But like I said, he can look back in 2024 with a huge amount of satisfaction, because he's progressed his game.
Exactly. So, and yeah, there's it's going to be a brilliant year, I'd imagine, for Ireland next year as well in the Six Nations Championship. Obviously, Andy Farrell has taken charge of the Lions this year as well. That's another kind of an angle. I know Finn Russell from Scotland is good, maybe Marcus Smith from England as well. But like if Jack does get minutes under his belt, that is a big if he does get minutes under his belt in the Six Nations, enough of them at that. Do you think the Lions is a realistic opportunity for Jack this year as well?
Yeah, you could hope so. Like he's probably an outsider now to get on that, but you wouldn't. It all depends on how the Six Nations go. Like obviously Andy Farrell knows Jack kind of really well from the Ireland setup, but it's the rise of Sam Prendergast will have a lot to say on Jack's Lions ambitions. Like I was saying there, like I think Jack Crowley should be the starting number 10 when it comes to the first Six Nations game. But my opinion doesn't matter at all here. It's like it's the people inside in that camp, and we could see Sam Prendergast get the nod like he did against Australia in that last autumn international game at the Aviva. So if Prendergast keeps doing what he's doing for Leinster, the pressure will be on Jack to produce for Munster and to raise his game to that new level, to prove that he should be Ireland's starting number 10. So if he can't do that, and if he can't keep Prendergast at bay, and if he can have a good Six Nations, he's putting his hand up for the Lions.
Exactly. So, and moving on to number 8, and it is, of course, another Olympic entry, and it is the first of many as well in the top 8 of this, and it is Phil Healy getting a silver medal in the European Athletics Championships in her 4x400 meter relay team with Rashida Adeleke, Sophie Becker, and Charlene Maudsley. It was Phil's first senior international medal, which was a magnificent achievement for her, obviously, and it was a great European Athletic Championships for Ireland this year with a couple of gold medals, some very good showings on the medals table midway through the championships as well, and indeed at the end. But for Phil herself, it was magnificent just to get that silver medal with a great team there as well.
In terms of my personal highlights of the year, this would be right up there. It really, really is, because Phil is just been an incredible ambassador for West Cork over the years. I remember when I started in the start, it's 12 years ago now. Actually 12 or 13 years ago, I was one of Phil's first ever big interviews she did with the Star, and she was still in Closh na Turbata. She was still in her leaving cert year then. So we've followed her rise so closely over the years. So to finally see Phil get her hands on an international medal, it was just such a special moment, and it meant an awful lot to her. And she said after, this is the stuff of dreams, because she would have dreamt about a moment like this, kind of to actually win a senior international medal and have a European silver medal now is it's reward for her, but it's also something kind of physical and tangible to kind of say, look, this is what I've worked towards. This is something that I have to show for all that effort that I've put in. She's part of that dream relay team, that 4x4 team with Charlene Maudsley, Rashida Adeleke, and Sophie Becker, and it's like kind of put that quartet together, and they can do special things. They can do amazing things, and we saw that in Rome. So it was just a kick-started what would be a very special couple of weeks and a very special summer for Phil, and I'm sure we'll get back to that kind of later in the chat. But I think important too is just Phil's backstory, Matthew. She had such a challenge in 2022 and 2023 where she contemplated packing it all up. She just was not moving well. She was not moving fast, and there was points where she thought, is this it? Am I finished? But there's a warrior there. She's a real tough nut, Phil is, and she fought her way back to the top of the internationals, top international stage, and she proved to us all again this year just how classy she is.
And of course, as Kieran mentioned there is more to come from the Olympics in athletics later on in the list. Moving on to number 7 for now, though, and it is another West Cork sporting icon that has reached the top of the mountain, and it is, of course, Keith Cronin, who won his second Irish Tarmac Rally title. And he had to wait 8 years for his second title, which was magnificent, I'd imagine, for Keith to get over the line in that as well. So he's reached the top of the mountain, Kieran. What an achievement for Keith to get his second title.
Yeah, his first was back in 2016, and he entered it again this year, and he won his second Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. And like, Keith Cronin is he's the pinnacle of Irish motorsport drivers, you could say, kind of at this home level. Like, he's won 4 British Rally Championship titles as well. He was trying that drive for 5 this year, so he was juggling his BRC title bid as well as being in the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, which is a tough ask, for anyone. Not to mention being a very kind of successful businessman as well. So he had a lot on his plate. But to finish the year with the Irish Tarmac Championship, like, it made it so special for Keith. And there were some big moments in there to win the West Cork Rally at home here in West Cork back in March. Like, that was really special. And it's how Keith won it as well. He won it on a tie break after the last rally on the 7th and kind of deciding rally and stuff. It was just kind of such fine margins, but that is motorsport, kind of, you're talking fractions of a second. But Keith and his co-driver Mikey Galvin from Killarney, they finished the year as Irish Tarmac champions, and the year got even better after that then, where Keith and his wife had their first baby as well. So kind of life off the road kind of took over then, kind of but it's just been such a great and memorable year for Keith.
Years don't get much better than that, in all honesty, on a personal level and a professional level. Like, it's brilliant for Keith, and it's probably one of his best. Would you say this is his best year of his career? Like, in 2016, obviously he won his first title, but this year it's going to be hard to top, obviously.
Again, I suppose on a personal level, like, you won't be able to top this year. on a kind of a motorsport level. Like he has those 4 BRC titles, and he'd love to get the record equal fifth. Like that'd be a dream for him. Whether he can do it again in 2025 and go for it, we'll just have to wait and see. It's getting tougher and tougher to win the BRC, but supposed to be top of the charts again in Ireland. That'll mean an awful lot for Keith. It really will, and it'll be interesting to see what his plans for next year are. Kind of when you win like a national title like this, it kind of opens doors. It opens doors as well. So we know Keith is a talent. Keith is phenomenally talented. Kind of that's not even open for debate. Like what he's won in terms of series and races over the years has just been incredible. So he's been he's the best of the best. And I always think back to during COVID, when we ran the best in the West competition to find out who West Cork people thought was West Cork's top sports person. It was Keith Cronin who won it. Such a huge following. He's such a huge fan base. So I think everyone's kind of delighted for him this year to see him back in the top of Ireland. And but can't wait to see what his plans for 2025 are.
Exactly. So, and we talked about individuals reaching the top of the mountain. Next, we'll go to a Gaelic Games team at number 6, and it is, of course, the Castlehaven footballers who won their second Cork Premier Senior Football Championship in a row, beating Nemo Rangers in the final. And they had a pretty good year when you think about it in Cork, Kieran. Like in the group stage, they wiped nearly everybody. St. Michael's, Clonakilty, Carbery Rangers. The semi-final was very comfortable against St. Finbarrs. And then the final, they got over the line against Nemo in what was a tough first half, but they got it together in the second half and got over the line. So magnificent achievement for Shawnee Callahan's side.
Yeah, and for Shawnee, like Shawnee's first year as manager, taking over from James Mack, who had been in charge for the 2023 win. So for Shawnee to come in and take over a county winning team, like that's, to some on the outside, like that might be quite easy, kind of, oh, this is a team that's won a county, but to win back to back is quite tough, kind of so to achieve what they did, and almost to achieve it comfortably in a sense, Matthew, because Bars in the semi-final ran Haven to 4 points, and that was the closest that any team got to Castlehaven in the championship. And if we're thinking over the last couple of years, we have that big tree here in Cork. We have the Bars, Nemo, and we have Castlehaven. But the last 2 seasons, Castlehaven have proved to be number one. Like they're the best team in the county right now. Going into 2025, they're going to be the team to beat as well. So the rest are kind of that chasing pack. So this was another really good year for Castlehaven, where they kind of kicked on again from 2023. And I think what impressed me the most is they didn't have a full hand to play with in any of their championship games. I'm thinking Conor Cahalan didn't start the championship game, if I'm right. Damien Cahalan he was injured too in the knockout stages, so it was only coming on as a sub. Michael Hurley was carrying an injury kind of for most of the championship and wasn't fully firing. Ronan Walsh was missing for a couple of games, so there are 4 fellas who were stalwarts of the 2023 campaign, and they weren't fully firing for Haven's win this year. So if Haven get them all back on board and back fully fit next year, that strengthens them even more. And off the back of that, then you have the young guns who are really finding their feet, and you have the likes of Micheál Maguire to come through and all that. So it's I think it's kind of pretty promising for Castlehaven going forward. And of course, going into next year, winning the county will be their first prerogative, but they'll have an eye on outside the county as well.
And you mentioned outside the county there, it was kind of disappointing for Castlehaven and for Cork in GA point of view in general. When you look at the club championship this season, the 4 semi-finalists there, Coola, in particular, well, Dr. Crokes is the obvious exception, winning the All-Ireland in 2017, but Coola won their first ever Dublin and Leinster championship. Coola Strandal won their first Connacht championship. Eric Kilkieran won their first Ulster championship in about 24 years or something like that, up in Ulster as well. Is there, do you think, a sense of disappointment in Castlehaven that they aren't amongst the semi-finalists? Because if they were in the semi-finalists right now, they would have a serious crack at the All-Ireland.
I think what you just said there could kind of, that'll hurt, it'll have to hurt them, because I was at that game in Clarny where Castlehaven lost to Dr. Crokes, and be under no illusions, Crokes deserved to win that Munster quarter-final. They're by far the better team on the day. But what rankled Castlehaven when they were walking out at Lewis Road is they never performed. They put their hands up and they said the better team today won, but they just never performed, and that just hurts. Like it was like a 3 out of 10 performance, and 4 out of 10 performance, and to say it was that poor, yes, going into injury time they were still only 3 points behind. Kind of they got it back that close. They got the late penalty and so on to kind of come back into it, and that was by that stage there was Brian Hurley been sent off. You know, kind of they were rocked by the Rory Maguire was missing that day. It wasn't even in the panel, you know, kind of he'd fallen ill the day before. Damon Cahalane, who I mentioned earlier, wasn't even fit to start, you know, so Crokes didn't have a full hand to go down into the Lions Den in Clarny to take on a Crokes team that had the kind of their number back 10, 11 years ago as well. So I think that'll have hurt Haven. They know that they're not too far away. It's very tough to get back to that Munster stage again because you got to negotiate that Cork minefield. But Haven will feel if they can get it right that they can rattle a Munster in a way, you know, like they did back in 2023 when they beat Dingle. So I think that could be a big target, or that could be a long term target for next year. Like the first one will be the group stage, get out of that and kick on from there. But there is quality in this Haven team.
Absolutely, and that is well documented over the last 2 seasons. And they are going to go for 3 in a row next year in Cork. From one West Cork team in Gaelic games to another, it is Ballineen at number 5. They won the confined Junior B county title back in July and won the West Cork Junior B title later on that year as well, and the West Cork League. Just fell short in the county final game against Douglas, but what a year Ballineen had, Kieran. They only lost 2 games all season, and they will be going in with their tails up into Junior A in 2025.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories of the year because it's the backstory. You know, we talked about Phil Healy earlier. It's the backstory. You know, talk about some of these sports people, and it just their backstory gives context to their achievements this year. And with Ballineen, they'd lost 4 county Junior B finals since 2019, and after winning the Carbery Junior B last year, this group of players had the option to go up to Junior A for 2024, but they decided against it, Matthew. They said we don't want to go up to Junior A until we've won a Junior B county. So they're putting pressure on their backs, you know, they're kind of backing themselves into a corner where they had to deliver, and credit to them, they did that. Like they beat Ballyfinane in the county confined Junior B final back in July now up in Parky Ring, a game that went extra time. That was so special, you know, kind of that will be the highlight of their year. They won the league as well. They won the Carbery Junior B again. Okay, they missed out on the County Junior B double, but they finished the year with 3 pieces of silverware. You know, what a remarkable season like for the men from the Limousin Peninsula. And this is one that'll live long in the memory. And they should celebrate this over Christmas because you don't get seasons like this too often.
Exactly, and how will they get on in Junior A next season, do you feel? Because there's a lot of tough teams I mentioned in previous podcasts down through the weeks in Junior A, but they came up against some Junior A teams in the West Cork League and beat them. They only lost to one side, and that was Randallow by a point, and even that was only by a point. So they will fancy themselves at having a huge crack off Junior A. But what do you think will be a success for Ballineen? Would it be the knockout stages or even further than that?
I think if Galway could get to the knockout stages in Junior A next year, to be a superb achievement because like there is a step up in quality, you know, kind of going from the Junior B up to Junior A. So if they could get the knockout stages, I think they'd be delighted with that. They'll have momentum off the back of this year. I think they have that Munster series, that Munster Junior B series in January as well to look forward to. So they'd hope for a good run in that. That's usually held up in Limerick. So that's one to look forward to. So there's a lot of positive reasons for Galway to look forward to 2025, and they're up Junior A, and they'll feel now they're up there on merit. Like they've won their county Junior B title, they deserve to be up there, and now this is their chance to kick on again.
Exactly so, and we're moving into the nitty gritty of the list now. We're moving into number 4, and of course, it isn't a West Cork highlight sports list without the great man himself, Paul O'Donovan. He's at number 4 with his 7th World Rowing Championship title and that he won in Canada in August. What more can you say about Paul O'Donovan at this stage? He obviously won the RT Sports Person of the Year recently as well. He is not just West Cork's greatest sporting athlete, but arguably Ireland's greatest as well.
Just build a statue now, Matthew. I don't care where you put it in Skibbereen, just build that statue for Paul O'Donovan. Like what this man has achieved at just 30 years of age just kind of defies comprehension. Like he's a 3-time Olympic medalist and 2 those of gold. He's a 7-time world champion. He's European medals, World Cup rowing medals. He's been a national Irish senior champion, World Rowing Awards. You said RT Sports Person of the Year, won the RT Sports Team of the Year before, like kind of I think a 2 or 3-time West Cork Sports Star of the Year. He's won more West Cork Sports Star awards than anyone else. Like the man is just, he's a freak of nature in a sporting sense, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Kind of we will not see the likes of Paul O'Donovan again. So we really have to enjoy the athlete that he is, and he's just an incredible sportsman, you know. So to win a seventh world title was just to win it. Like I said, it's hard to put into words, but to win a seventh world title off the back of just winning a third Olympic medal, kind of the fact that he just dusted himself down, having been in a double, went into a single, and proved himself to be the best in the world again. It's just a glimpse into what makes this man so incredible. We call him the Lachine legend for a reason. He's a legend from Lachine. He's put Lachine on the map. He's put Skib on the map. He's put West Cork on the map. And the thing is, at 30, there is more to come from him, and that's what's so exciting as he steps up into the heavyweight. But he's just a remarkable sports person. And like I said, at those World Championships in Canada, to win the lightweight single so impressively, it just spoke volumes of the talent of the man, but also the mindset, determination, and drive of him.
Yeah, exactly. And an absolutely brilliant sportsman, as you mentioned there. And spoilers, but there is more to come from the Olympic dreams in Ireland in this list as well. But before that, at number 3, it is the O'Donovan and Rossa ladies footballers who won the Cork Championship this year at intermediate level and the Munster Championship as well, making it 5 championship titles in a row. They just fell short of the All-Ireland semi-final to Annadown, but even to get to that stage, Kieran, they're now up at senior from all the way back from Junior C. It's a magnificent achievement, obviously, from the O'Donovan and Rossa ladies, and 5 championship titles in a row, it'll be hard to beat, really. Like, this is a magnificent achievement from the girls from Skib.
This one was the stuff of dreams, and I think the Skib ladies deserve their place in the top 3. Like I think the only West Cork team to win a Munster title this year, am I right? Kind of in the GA since, kind of and to do it in the style that they did, like to kind of clean sweep at junior level last year, to go up into intermediate, like it was going to be a step up, but to win the county intermediate the first go and then to win the Munster intermediate, like that's just incredible. Like, and it just shows you what momentum can do, confidence and self-belief as well, because the Skib ladies won 5 major championship finals in a row, the kind of the dream is ended by Annadown in the All-Ireland intermediate semi-final away from home up in Galway. But that shouldn't take away from what's been an incredible journey for this team, and it's not finished yet. Like, they're now up senior, and like I said earlier in this chat, like, we now have 4 senior ladies teams from West Cork in next year's championship, which is quite exciting as well. But this Skibbereen ladies team, they will never ever forget these seasons, 23 and 24. What they've achieved, like they'll have reunions 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and the stories and the tales from the different journeys, from their Munster final win against St Albans this year to their All-Ireland junior final win last year up in Parnell Park, to travelling across to Scotland for an All-Ireland quarter-final. All these incredible stories, like this will bind this kind of band of sisters together forever. So they've created these magical memories, and they've given us as sports fans so many highlights. Like, they've been a sports editor's dream, the Skib ladies. Like, they've just on their own, they've kept the sports department busy the last 18 months. So no, just been an incredible journey to watch and to cheer on.
You talked about magical moments there. Is West Cork people getting greedy at this stage? Could we see more magical moments in the senior grade next year?
Wouldn't you love it? Jesus, wouldn't you love that? Like we were saying earlier, and the fact that we 4 West Cork teams up there was now. I think for the likes of Skib, kind of, if you look at what Castlehaven and Clonakilty done over the last 2 years, winning the Senior B, maybe that's the next natural step for O'Donovan and Rossa, kind of have a crack off the Senior B. But what's that to say where momentum can take him? Like we said earlier, it's a very open championship. Like, we like to be greedy here in West Cork. We want to win it all. We want all the medals down in this corner of the county. There's a reason West Cork is the richest area of sport in Cork, because we have the collection of the greatest sports people here, from rugby to rowing to soccer to camogie to bowling to athletics to you name it. They're all down here. So would we like more medals in 2025? Yes, please.
Okay, so, and we'll move on to number 2 now. We mentioned Phil Healy and our 4x400 meter relay teammates making the list earlier on. In the list, obviously, they made it again at number 2. They reached the Olympic final this year in Paris, finishing 4th, just missing agonisingly on a medal. It was a magnificent achievement nonetheless from Phil Healy and her teammates, obviously. Magnificent just to reach the Olympic final, and not only just could be in the Olympic final. They weren't happy to just be there. They were going to compete as well, and they came so close to a bronze medal.
Oh my God, like 0.18 of a second, like that's how close this Irish quartet were to kind of sporting immortality here in Ireland. Like, but they were just incredible ambassadors for Ireland. And I think the whole country fell in love with the Irish women's 4x4 relay team at these Olympics because they achieved so much. Like they set a new national record in that Olympic final. It was 3:19.90. I think that was the second or third time that this quartet had smashed the national record. They did it at the World Relays in the Bahamas back in May when they qualified for Paris. They did it at the Europeans in Rome when they won that silver medal, and they did it again on the biggest stage of all, the Olympic final. And to have a local woman from Ballineen kind of front and center, she ran the third leg, took the baton from Rashida Adeleke, passed it on to Charlene Maudsley. And if memory serves me correct, I think Phil ran her fastest ever relay split in that final, which is just a testament to her. Again, given that backstory, like I said, the challenges that she's had to come back and to win her place in the Irish women's relay team and to perform on the big stage, it just shows the class of Phil. Because we've got to remember too that Phil's been at the top level for 10, 11 years now. When she was winning her first national senior title back in 2014, Rashida Adeleke was just 11 years old. Like that shows the kind of the longevity of Phil's career. So to have her here now, she was 29 in the summer, she's turned 30 since in November. To still have her at the top of Irish women's sprinting in that relay team, it's just a testament to her character. And she came so close to that Olympic medal. And when she came home here to West Cork, there was a brilliant homecoming in Ballineen and in Eskeen. And that's when we had the Ballineen bullet, and then we kind of coronated the Queen of Ballineen. Kind of everyone came out to see Phil, and just a wonderful year for Phil.
Brilliant year for Phil, obviously. And just in general, before we get on to the rest of this list, obviously, where do you think Irish athletics is, Kieran, this year? Because the Irish did so well in the European Athletics Championships, obviously winning 2 gold medals in that. Obviously, Phil and her team winning silver, coming agonisingly close to a bronze in the Olympics as well. Like, the Irish did so well in the Olympic in 2024, probably better than previous seasons, if memory serves me correctly as well. So it was a brilliant year for Irish athletics. But how can that translate into the next few years in 2025, 26, 27, etc.?
I think when you look at 2025, it's stacked in terms of kind of championships like World Indoors, World Outdoors, Europeans. It's just like there's team championships in there as well. Like it's a really busy year. So we'd hope that the Irish athletes can kick on. Like we're the Irish women's relay team. Very interested to see how they get on. I think I saw recently Adeleke won't be running in some of the competitions. She wants to focus on the World Athletics Championships later in the summer. But the likes of hopefully Ciara McGeehan will come back next year. Sarah Levin's just a class act. Like we've a lot of really good Irish athletes, and then we've those young up and comers like we mentioned with Nicola Tuttle earlier. So I think we've a new wave coming through. So we're kind of excited to see how they get on. But I suppose the reality is it's so incredibly hard to medal in athletics. It's a world sport. Kind of look at the caliber of athletes there. It is the best in the world. It's such a tough discipline to medal in. So that's for an Irish women's relay team. They finished fourth in an Olympic final. Kind of it's just incredible, and it just shows how far that Irish women's sprinting has come in the last 10 years. So onwards and upwards, hopefully in 2025.
Exactly. So, and before we get on to our number 1 pick, Kieran, have you any honourable mentions on who could have made the top 20 list?
Oh, top of my head now. I suppose Conor Horan. He captained Derby to win promotion from League One back in May, or back in end of April, start to May, and that was Conor was the Derby captain that day. And just for a West Cork man to be performing on that stage and to kind of like consistently since he left West Cork as a 16-year-old, kind of I think he's on over 500 kind of club appearances across the water in England, so they have Conor now in his 30s. He's going down that coaching kind of career now, so he's someone who could have made the top 20. Your own home club, Ballineen Camogie team. I know you were knocking at my door here, Matthew, saying, will you just put the Bell Ladies in? What's wrong with you, Kieran? Kind of for the Bell Ladies to win the Premier Junior Camogie Championship was huge for Ballineen. So they definitely deserve an honourable mention. Jesus, there's more off the top of my head now that I can't even think of. Yeah, but there was just an incredible year for for West Cork Sport, and even the likes of Geraldine Curtin winning kind of back-to-back Munster women's senior bowling titles is worth to mention as well. She's still trying to get that kind of first All Ireland title, but yeah, it was there was a good few who didn't make the top 20 who have a kind of a who could easily be justified if they did make it.
Exactly. So, but at number one, and I don't think it's a surprise to any of our viewers or listeners, it is Paul O'Donovan and Fintan McCarthy winning a second Olympic gold medal in a row. In a year where Ireland did so well in the gold medal stakes in the Olympics, these guys just keep the consistency going and going and going.
It is like there's a brilliance to their dominance, like there's an expectation that Paul and Fintan are going to win, kind of we just expected at this stage just off the back of what they've achieved over the years. But there's still such kind of an outpouring of celebration and emotion when they do it. Like to win back-to-back Olympic gold medals is just an incredible achievement. The first Irish athletes, and I think it was like over 100 years or something like that, since Dr. Pat O'Callaghan in the hammer, which is a long time ago to achieve it. And for Paul, he became the first Irish sports person to win Olympic medals at 3 different games, from Rio to Tokyo to Paris. Fintan from Tokyo to Paris, back-to-back gold medals. And what made this even more special, Matthew, was the fact that this was the last Olympics with lightweight rowing as part of it. It's all been dropped. It won't be an event in LA in 2028. So that means Paul and Fintan are Olympic lightweight men's double champions for eternity. Nobody can ever take this crown off them, but they went out in style. Like I said, there was this expectation we had in them that they were going to win gold, and they delivered. It wasn't the ideal preparation, to be honest. Fintan Eddie's kind of he's health issues in the run up to the game, so they weren't kind of fully functioning at the level that they would have hoped pre-Paris. But when push came to shove, like these two are just like the Skibbereen dream team. Like they produced the goods, and it was one of the most magical mornings I've ever had in Skib that Friday morning, down inside in the town hall, kind of packed to the rafters here, the rain pelting outside, but inside it was just pure and utter celebration. Just the I suppose the impact that they're having in the community, to bring their whole area together like this, and just this outpouring of just joy and celebration. It's just brilliant to be part of.
Exactly. So, do you think they'll go for another Olympic Games? I know lightweight is gone now. Can they go for LA in 2028, do you believe?
Yeah, they're both going heavyweight, so that's their challenge. To kind of they moved up with the big boys, the taller boys with the longer levers, that's their challenge now, how they'll get on there. To be fair to them, their time equates very well to what heavyweights kind of produce. So there will be a bit of adjustment. So it's going to be very interesting in 2025 to see what Paul and Fintan look like in terms of a double at that level. We can't just expect them to go up to heavyweight and just keep doing what they're doing. It's not that easy. But we're talking about two of the best rowers Ireland have ever produced. Like Paul is the best. Fintan is very, 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 very close second. You have to say, looking at their medal haul over the last couple of years. The hope is they'll both get to LA, knowing them both and what drives them and stuff. They're going to do it for the love of the sport. Kind of that love of the sport is still there. They love doing what they're doing. So I think we're all excited to see how they get on in their next chapter.
Exactly. So really, really excited. So that is the top 20 moments of the year. And just to let any of our readers know as well, the end of year review for the sports section will be out on Christmas Eve. At this stage, it will be tomorrow, in shops all around West Cork. So Kieran, just a quick snippet of what to expect in this year's end of year review.
It is absolutely brilliant. So anyone looking for a last minute kind of Christmas stocking filler for your nearest and dearest, pick up the Southern Star, which is on sale this Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve. So yeah, there's packed full of interviews. So we're always one of our favourite editions to work on every year. So we chat to the likes of Phil Healy, Nicola Tussell, David Hart, Diarmuid O'Mahunas are in there. Joe McCarthy picks his West Cork LGFA Team of the Year. We chat to Keith Cronin, Laura O'Mahony, Inya Breen. I'm looking here, Ballineen are in there. We do we've an interview with Jack Cahalane looking at Castlehaven, Clonakilty ladies footballers. We talked to them after the year that they've had. We talked to Fiona Keating, the Corkamogie player, about her year on and off the pitch. Annie Condon from Ballineen, we've a Q&A with her as well. Martin Coppinger, who won the Munster Senior Men's Bowling title, he's in there. So there's really is something for everyone. So it's the perfect way to kind of, I think, to recall the highlights of 2024 and just kind of to remember to yourself just how special this region is and just what the sports people of West Cork achieved in 2024. And it's the perfect way to say goodbye to 2024 as well, as you get ready for a new year full of new opportunities and new hopes for everyone.
Exactly. So, and as usual for the end of year edition in the sports section, if you are further afield or can't make it to the shops, you could subscribe to the Southern Star e-paper and get the Southern Star on your laptop, tablet or phone. Just go to www.southernstar.ie/subscribe, enter your details and you'll get an exact replica of the newspaper for less than €2 per week. As always, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast and thanks again to our sponsors at Access Credit Union. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to rate, review and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, this is the last episode of the year. So the next episode will be in 2025. So technically, we'll see you next year, all the viewers. Wishing all the viewers and listeners, for myself and Kieran, a very happy Christmas and a joyous new year. And until next year, when the podcast will be back, we'll see you then. Take care and happy Christmas.